As I cracked open my bronze-colored copy of William Faulkner's As I Lie Dying, I had very little knowledge of what I was about to learn. I knew a simple explanation of the plot and that a band from my teenage years shared the same name. But if you read McCarthy's early stuff, then you had to read Faulkner. What I wasn't expecting was how the foreword to this novel would leave an impact on the way I view fiction. If you read enough modern literature from pre-World War II, you expect to get things through an outdated lens. As Jessamine Ward explains, she'd never been pulled into a first-person experience like that of Darrell's, but was just easily kicked out of the narrative by the usage of the N-word. Ward is a Mississippi native, just like William Faulkner, and everybody knows there's no place like home. She said reading Faulkner's portrayal of Mississippi made her feel two opposite ways at once. A conflicted and imperfect love, she describes it. And for this, she considers As I Lie Dying one of the foundational books of her career as a writer. The first-person experience of being in someone else's shoes who grew up in the same place was transformative to her writing. This idea is why reading fiction is so important in learning how to tell impactful stories. The relativity of being raised in Mississippi, juxtaposed with the experience of being a poor white person, is how new insight and new ideas are brought to light through writing. In this video, I want to share the 4 reasons of why reading fiction is so impactful for developing new ideas. We like to hear stories that have similar themes to our own experiences. For example, the themes in As I Lie Dying are grief, mortality, and the self. In Haruki Murakami's The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles, the themes are loneliness, alienation, and also the self. In Cormac McCarthy's Suttree, the themes are loneliness, alienation, and the absurdity of existence. 3 of my favorite books I've read recently all have relative themes that apply to my own experience. 3 different stories with different characters, all experiencing different journeys, but about similar things. It's like trying out different flavors of the same drink. There's a scene in the TV series The Bear where Chef Marcus is sent to Copenhagen to work next to Chef Luca, and Chef Marcus asks, "How'd you get so good at this?" And in the monologue, Chef Luca basically says, "You could spend all the time in the world in the kitchen, but if you don't spend enough time outside of it, how can you become inspired?" Chef Luca loves food, so he eats food. And the same goes for reading fiction. You know what themes impact you, so go and read as many different perspectives on them as you can, which will undoubtedly lead you to uncomfortable experiences. You can't test the limits of a theme without experiencing something uncomfortable. You have to earn it to trust it. When I was growing up in the 90s and 2000s, if you brought your Pokemon cards to school, you were going to get made fun of for it. Maybe you even have to fight somebody. The next day, if you didn't bring your Pokemon cards back to school, you'd be considered fake. I guess you didn't love Pokemon all that much. But if you came back to school the next day with your cards in hand, people would know, okay, this kid's willing to fight for his love of Pokemon.
I put the smack down with my Pokemon
and make that
Pokemon time. I put the smack down with my Pokemon
and make that
Pokemon time. I put the smack down with my Pokemon
and make that
Pokemon time. I put the smack down with my Pokemon
and make that
Pokemon time.
I think people today struggle with the concept of the self because so much is open and accepted without that earned experience. You cannot learn anything without some level of being uncomfortable. Whether it's exercising or learning algebra, you gotta suck at it first before you can be good at it. Reading fiction is one of the best ways to have this earned experience within your own brain. In a good fiction story, your beliefs should be tested. It should make you think about who you are in your own self. It should change you. What's the point of going through any experience if it doesn't change you in some way? Growth, improvement, movement are all parts of any story. In an RPG video game, you have to grind a level. In movies, the characters experience conflict. And in novels, most characters are put through some sort of experience to return anew. In Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea, the old man is put through a physical and mental test with a legendary fish. He's years past his prime, as the title of the book will tell you. He goes out to sea and returns changed with a new perspective on his current stage of life. A great novel can help you turn a negative into a positive. We all change whether we like it or not. And fiction gives us a safe arena to wrestle with this realization and learn to become better because of it. Lastly, going through this process with a renewed perspective can give you new ideas. I draw inspiration from fiction more than anything else, and no other medium forces you to engage with your brain the way a paperback novel does. Reading a physical book can be an uncomfortable experience in itself. It can give you neck and back pain, and it's a tangible item you have to account for everywhere you take it. The ideas that come from reading fiction are earned experiences. Just like when I used to play football, I was part of a team with 100+ other people going through the same challenging experience together. Everyone trusted and depended on one another to buy into the collective themes our team was built on. A lot more is at stake this way, so it's more difficult to give up on the narrative. I feel the same way when I finish a paperback novel. I've spent time with it, I grow attached to it, I feel the weight shift from my left hand to my right. It is literally a more impactful way to learn something than any other medium. So when you're doing research on fiction novels, focus on what themes you want to explore on your journey as a writer. Buy the ticket and take the ride. Accept that uncomfortable experience knowing what you'll gain from it. Accept the change and become inspired with a new outlook on a common theme. If you were impacted by this video and want to see what ideas reading has inspired me to come up with, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click one of the playlists for more. I work really hard to get all this content out into the world, so doing any of those will really help me make more. And I'm Jed the Sloth, the original play ball. See the vision, be the vision, and I'll see you in the next one.